This is 90s country superstar Faith Hill.
The Mississippi girl don't change her ways just 'cause everybody knows her name.
That song, Mississippi Girl, was her last #1 hit from her most recent solo studio album, and recently fans were breathless with a supposed hint that she might be making a comeback. I'm gonna use this rose to express my emotions at the prospect of a new album. Over time, slowly, hope fades until, y'all, have you seen what's going on at faithhill.com? If you're a longtime subscriber and sensing a theme to this video, hold that thought. I think you're onto something. I think we messed up. And to solve this mystery and truly get to the heart of why Faith Hill vanished, we need to look inward. Here's what I'm talking about. On August 13th, Taste of Country published this article, Why Did Faith Hill Deactivate Her Social Media? At the time, we just couldn't access her Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook pages. I mean, it's kind of rare for someone to go through the trouble of deleting a Facebook profile, but Twitter, or X I guess, and Instagram seem to be easily revived. I mean, Zach Bryan does it just about weekly, and other artists have wiped the slate clean to start a new chapter. I guess it kind of makes sense, and it's a good way to get people talking about you again, right? However, we hit a big old dead end when we go to faithhill.com. No, your phone or computer's not glitching, it's just a blank page. Much like Jimmy Hoffa and payphones, Faith Hill seems to have vanished, but did she really disappear by choice? I mean, Barbara Mandrell did it that way back in 1997. Stick a pin in that as we quickly hit the highs and lows of Faith Hill's career.
She's a wild one with an angel's face.
1993, Wild One. Her debut single after 6 years toiling in Nashville, and from there it was easy, right? Most people like to pretend that Faith Hill's career has kind of gone like this. Let's Go to Vegas, opening for George Strait, marriage to Tim McGraw, This Kiss, the hottest tour in the world, CMA and ACM Awards, American Music Awards, Let's Make Love with Tim McGraw, her sexy music video for Breathe, and then the Cry album. The reality is, for every high, there was an equal low, plus some really nasty attacks in a pre-social media world. I'm gonna get to the worst of them in just a moment. In fact, Faith has said she seriously considered quitting after one scandal in 2006. Any high-profile relationship is a target for accusations of cheating or worse, and her marriage to Tim McGraw was no different. I'm not going to mention a name, but if you believe tabloids, she hooked up with another country music superstar at some point, nearly destroying a marriage. This all kind of reminds me of 80s superstar Anne Murray, who, despite her calm professional demeanor, was at times roped into scandal. Kinda thinking I should do a secret history on her too. What do you think? Comment below. By now, I hope you've spotted 4 clues needed to solve this mystery. Photos of 4 different women, Faith, Bobby Gentry, Barbara Mandrell, and Anne Murray, have sort of floated off the screen, and there's a reason for that. They all have something important in common that cracks this mystery wide open. Any guesses? I love a good mystery, which is why I kind of love creating these secret history of country music videos. It's also why I'm really excited to share today's sponsor. Y'all, I've been having a great time playing a new video game called June's Journey that works in much the same way. It's a throwback to the 1920s, where our hero, June Parker, is trying to solve her sister's murder. Along the way, she discovers some disturbing family secrets as she tries to console her niece, Virginia. Woman truly has to do it all. This is me decorating my island and her house, and watch, I'm even gonna upgrade the mansion. Gosh, I wish it was that easy and fun in real life. It took me about 2 minutes to get a feel for how to play, and I was pretty hooked when I got to this scene, the murder photograph. And there's 2 major clues here that I unlocked, not quickly, but quick enough. You see, police think June's brother-in-law killed her sister and then turned the gun on himself. But if that's the case, why are there 3 whiskey glasses? I don't want to spoil too much, but I will show you a little bit more from the game's trailer. If you love antiques and period piece movies, you're gonna love the scenery and characters. The housekeeper is just a doll. At least I think. Maybe she's the murderer. I don't know yet. Oh look, I just unlocked a new scene. Yep, go me. Woo woo. Discover June's journey for free. You can click in the link in the description box and play on Android, iOS, and PC through Facebook Games. June gets herself into a little bit of trouble at times. You could even say she comes under attack like our hero, Faith Hill. She certainly has to overcome the same number of difficulties. Here's what I mean. 1994, Faith's second album is delayed as she's having major vocal issues. Quote, "I was having a lot of trouble singing, so I just put in for a checkup and found the cause of my difficulties was coming from an enlarged blood vessel on one of my vocal cords." Eesh. Around that same time, her first marriage to Daniel Hill falls apart. The late 90s were pretty good to Faith, but in 2001, she'd give birth to youngest daughter, Audrey, by emergency C-section. Audrey weighed just 3 pounds, 11 ounces, and was in the NICU. It was the hardest thing she'd ever do in her life. Earlier that year, she won 4 American Music Awards, but all anyone talks about is this photo and her new haircut. One journalist compared it to a bale of hay.
Faith, are you surprised at how much comment there is about your hair? Just
Hey, I have bad hair days just like everybody else.
So what everybody thought was a new star was a bad hair day.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Then, yeah, cry dropped.
Could you cry a little? Lie just a little.
People hated this record like it insulted their mama. I watched a long episode of the Train Records podcast on Cry that's pretty entertaining, and it makes some good points and really gets into the criticism.
Recently it's been a little difficult because it's been so personal, and listen to my music and don't be so judgmental about everything that you think is there or not there.
Problem is, Hill bounced back with Fireflies and 4 hit songs from it in 2005 and 2006, and she did that while spending time in New Orleans helping people dig out of Hurricane Katrina. How wild is it that the last time Faith Hill released a record, we were like, Hurricane who? What came next? More attacks and rumor spreading. Yep, that's Carrie Underwood, and she brings us to 2006. Oh my gosh, Faith needed to hear Taylor Swift's Mean in 2006. The incident I'm referring to happened at the CMAs when Faith jokingly acted real mad after she lost to Carrie in the Female Vocalist of the Year category. This was the clip, and you can even see her smiling.
Carrie Underwood!
Later, Faith would admit she truly considered quitting. A pair of singles that flopped at country radio came next, including one called Come Home that enjoyed a CMA debut in 2011. Then in 2013, she was replaced on NBC's Sunday Night Football by Carrie Underwood.
Waiting all day for Sunday night. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
Faith was 46 years old at this point. I'm about the same age, so I can kind of relate to just being tired of taking all these arrows. It's not fair to say that she has thin skin. For whatever reason, the country crowd and America in general are so much meaner to our country women than they are the men. At times, it comes off as straight sexism. How about this fact? Since 1980, only 5 women have hit #1 on the Billboard Country Airplay chart with a solo airplay hit when they were age 40 or above. 5 in 45 years. It's Dolly, Reba, Anne Murray, Katie Oslin, and Sarah Evans. She was the last one to do it with Perfect. I made a spreadsheet years ago that I've kept up to date, and it shows every artist who has hit #1 past age 40. You'll see there's just a ton of men, including Kenny Rogers, who did it at 62. All the green lines are songs with women, but only a few of those are solo women. This spells bad news for artists like Carrie Underwood and Miranda Lambert, who has done something pretty interesting after 40. She's pivoted to a more artistically satisfying project and built a model that doesn't really rely on radio airplay. She started doing that a decade ago. Faith has never really sought an unconventional route to success. She went as far as radio would take her, and once that train stopped, she just sort of hopped off. You can make a case that the Cry album was her vanity project, i.e. the album that she made just for her, but that was an awful experience for her. What would you do under these circumstances? I think I'd enjoy my family, and maybe even venture into something like acting, where Faith did so well as Margaret Dutton in 1883. That's one fan theory, by the way, but it's kind of undercut by there being absolutely nothing new at her IMDb profile. I'm gonna drop one more clue before tying this mystery up. Shania Twain, who Faith was endlessly compared to in the 90s and early 2000s. She's active today, but she did go a decade plus between albums, as she chose to be a mom and then take care of some messy personal business. When she stepped away, Shania was 38 or 39 years old. When Bobby Gentry quit, she was 40 or 41 years old. Barbara Mandrell, who people crucified after a car accident that left a young man killed, waited until she was 48 years old before she officially retired. Anne Murray was a little older, closer to 60 when she slowed down. I think we'd do ourselves a really big favor by giving Faith some space to find that second act, but also acknowledging that it just might not ever happen. I hate to end this video on a pun, but let's just breathe.
And I can feel you breathe, washing over me, and suddenly I'm melting into you.
I'm Billy Dukes for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and be sure to discover June's Journey for free. Click on the link in the description box and play on Android, iOS, and PC through Facebook Games.